Hello, everyone, and welcome to Trust the Profits as we count down to Saturday at Churchill Downs and the 147th running of the Kentucky Derby. As I'm sure you know, the post position draw and morning line odds have been announced, so we're going to take a look at all 20 horses right after this. Welcome back. I'm the producer, and I'm joined by El Hombre and the Formula. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well.
I'm doing great. Yeah, really looking forward to talking about the Kentucky Derby today, and after they drew the posts, just talking with you guys about each of the 20 horses.
All right. Well, before we get started, I'd like to take a second to thank all our viewers for watching our videos, hitting that thumbs up button, and leaving mostly pleasant comments. And we want you all to know that we're just getting started here, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on any of our content. But without any further ado, let's jump right into it. And drawing the first position is Known Agenda. Now, in our latest rankings, we have this horse at number 4, but the last horse to win from Post 1 was Ferdinand, and that was back in 1986. Morning line has him at 6-1. Formula, what do you think?
You know, there's a lot of talk, especially on Twitter. I've seen people even raise the question, hey, do you cross Known Agenda off your list now? I think it's absolutely crazy at this point to take a look at a horse that has the shortest line from start to finish and say you're going to cross him off the list. So I've gone through and I've watched since 2013 all the previous derbies. The numbers on since 1930 and winning from Post 1 are actually pretty good. They're not the top, but they're, I think, third or fourth in terms of win percentage. But if you look at all those horses that have lost or have not fared very well, they all have one thing in common. They all had crappy odds because they just weren't as good as the other horses in the race. But you look at Max Player last year, finished 5th, respectable. You look at War of Will 2 years ago, 16-1 odds, and was running in the top 3 for the most part, wasn't impacted by the rail at all. So I really think it's overblown, drawing the first position and being under fire in those first few seconds of the race.
Hello, Bray.
Well, yeah, I think the other thing we're forgetting about is this is Todd Pletcher's number 1 joint. Irad Ortiz Jr., who is, just on top of the game. The horse has a 6-1 morning line, which is an absolute steal. If you're going to have something against him, now everybody has a good excuse to call this rail a bad look. I don't know. I'm still going hard on Known Agenda. I think that was my absolute pick before we started talking, post positions. I've talked to a few people. It does affect it slightly, but I still think he's got a real shot. Like you said, War of Will, friend of the family, Tyler Gaffalione, maybe would have won the Derby 2 years ago on War of Will against the Maximum Security when Maximum Security darted right and took out War of Will. Basically, War of Will was way more effective than Country House in that race. Country House, the eventual winner, but that's how I feel. Number 1, I don't see a big scare here.
Yeah, I think I've only seen a top horse win the Derby. I've never seen the rail win a Derby. Let me just put it that way, right? I get the theory behind it, and I'm sure there's people who will come forth and say, jockeys even say that they wouldn't want that position. But to be honest with you, I've also seen a lot of people start from that position and do really well, right? If you have the clearest line to get to the front or to get into a favorable position if everything breaks your way. And to be honest with you, it's 20 horses racing. So if you're drawn 3rd position, 5th position, 10th position, you're going to be surrounded by a pack of huge beasts. Either way, right? There's going to be struggles at the start of the Derby. I don't think getting the first rail is as big of an issue. I'd rather have a good jockey, a good horse, and a good trainer. And you got that with Known Agenda, 6-1. That's a really good play.
Let me close it out real quick. Known Agenda, by the way, it's not a horse that needs to be up front at the top. He doesn't need to be up front, so it doesn't matter. He can lay back.
All right, Like the King will start in the 2 position. We have to go back even further to 1978 when Affirmed won from the 2 post. Now, Like the King is sitting at 50-1 and coming into the draw. We had him at number 8. Has that changed?
Not for me. Like the King, 50-1 odds. We had him at number 8. Not super thrilled about Like the King in the 2 hole. I don't think it really affects him anyway. Speed figures aren't great for this horse. Did a lot of bumping to win at the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Won over Sainthood, which I actually like Sainthood's run a little bit better, even though he came in second. Like I said, there was a lot of bumping that that factored into Like the King. Hell of a close race there. I'd be shocked if Like the King won.
Alombre?
Let me preface this by saying that, first of all, I got to dismiss 12 of the 20 competitors here. Haters unite. Everybody here is going to throw hate at me. I cannot wait. I bask in it. I love it. Please.
I love the hate. Basking in it, basking in it, basking in it.
Bring it on. So listen, we got 20 horses in this thing. I got to toss 12 of them immediately and narrow it down to 8. Okay? So, Like the King, you're out. Thanks for coming out. You got no shot. I don't like the King at all. I think he's got zero chance. I'm not going to put a dime even on a deep exotic for him. Wesley Ward having a great year, had a great meet at Keeneland. I was just there, and it was he was a rock star in there right now. Drayden Van Dyke, a young jockey coming up, but no shot. Thanks for coming. End it. Next.
Historically, the 3rd and 4th positions are even worse than 1 and 2. We have a couple of 50-1 horses that'll be lining up here. At 3, we have Brooklyn Strong. El Hombre, what do you think about this horse?
Insta toss. We're out. We're not going to talk about him again. This is the end of that story. It's got the same shot. If you can harken back, I'll harken back to like 1987 when I'm an 8-10-year-old kid. The Brooklyn Brawler, the WWF, now known as the WWE. He's going to be out there and he's going to get, I mean, he's the heel. Is that what they call him? The bad guy. Like,
yep.
You know, he's instant loser. Guy's going to come out. Macho Man's going to throw him over the ropes, all that. Brooklyn Brawler. Brooklyn Strong, same thing. Umbi Rispoli. Unfortunate. Umbi's going to win the Derby eventually. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is. And it's too bad. I forget which horse he was on before, but he was on one that we're talking about. Oh, he was on Rock Your World, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He should be on Rock Your World.
Right, he should be on there now. Brooklyn Strong, 50-1. He was a December darling in New York, and then he was the horse that February and March had forgotten. By the time April came around, just fell apart completely in the Wood Memorial, finished 5th. If you put your money on Brooklyn Strong, I've got a penny stock tip for you for a pharmaceutical company called Waste It All. There, that's it.
Bada boom, bada bing, move. Who's next?
All right, so Super Saver was the last winner out of Post 4 back in 2010. But here in 2021, it's going to be Keep Me in Mind. This is trainer Robertino Diodoro's first Kentucky Derby start. What are your thoughts on that, the formula?
Yeah, 50-1, 5th at Bluegrass, 6th at the Rebel. There's a jockey change in there, as we all know about. Still working off of that 3rd place in the Breeders' Cup in the Juvenile. Is this the time when Keep Me in Mind peaks? I'd be very surprised if that's the case. So I'm predicting this horse is going to be in the back 25%, unfortunately. Probably still some growth for this horse, but I don't think it's happening on May 1st.
Yeah, agreed. Diodoro and Cohen was the original team on Keep Me in Mind. Big fans of both of them. Wish you the best. Can't find a path myself. We wish them the best of luck.
Insta-toss.
You're not going to put a dime on that thing if you have a brain. Go ahead. Next, what we got? 5?
Yeah, while it's true that most of the inside positions are undesirable, that doesn't ring true for Post 5. It has an 11% win rate, and an impressive 24% of horses in the top 3 have come from Gate 5, more than any other draw in Derby history. The Todd Pletcher's 50-1 horse Sainthood gets this draw. Is Lady Luck going to visit Post 5 this year? El Hombre.
Here's what I have. Another insta-toss. We talked about having 12 out of my 20 horses. I got to toss instantly.
Insta-toss.
This horse, Sainthood, and it's Pletcher. I got no more respect than anybody in the game than Todd Pletcher. The guy's a beast. In this case, this horse has the same chance as a 10-year-old altar boy has in a Catholic church. How's that sound for you?
Easy.
This is what, I mean, let's be honest. It's none of my business what happens behind closed doors over there in the Catholic churches, but look, that's what, it's a saint, it's a sainthood. It all works out. He's got no shot. Bada boom, bada bang, move on, go.
Yeah, so it's one of my two favorite 50-1 odds horses. It's not saying much. It's the second of those two. And again, right, 50-1, not saying much. Did like the charge that it had in the last eighth of a mile at the Wood. I think if he had another eighth of a mile, he might have picked off like the king. Broke his maiden previous to that. It's a horse that might surprise, might finish in the money. I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere in the top 10 in its finish. Corey Lannery's the jockey now, pleasure horse like we talked about, but probably finishes somewhere between 5th and 10th, which is not bad for a 50-1 shot.
All right, at 20-1, Besos gets the start in post 6, which has the second worst win rate at just 2.2%. Can Besos overcome the odds, El Hombre?
Insta toss. 12 out of 20. I think we're hitting a bunch of them early here. The first 5 out of 6 we're going to talk about. Insta toss. G. Foley, Pedroza, jockey. I don't believe he's going to play into anything, not even a superfecta. I'm not putting him a single dime on any tickets. He looked good in a couple races. He's third best in a race of a bunch of third bests. I got nothing for you. No insight, no knowledge. He's got no shot. Boom, move.
Yeah, not to be confused with Besos, who's Baffert's Padonkadonk stallion.
Even worse, by the way. Yeah.
Even worse. If you like a horse that finishes 3rd and 4th in big races, then this is the horse for you. At the Risen Star, he was a nose away from finishing 6th, and he did improve. He looked better in the Louisiana Derby. He finished 3rd there to Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon. I'm actually shocked that this horse is 20-1 and not 50-1.
Me too.
The love for Besos, even on Twitter, is just killing me. I've seen a lot of people trip over themselves to line up to bet on Besos. If you want to buy into this horse, if you really want to get into this horse, I've got some beautiful land for you, some coastline property in western Nebraska. Call me, pristine views. I'll work out a timeshare if you want, even.
G. Foley will get in for you. Yep.
Yeah.
Mandaloun is going to race out of post 7, which has been the starting point for 7 previous winners, like Street Sense back in 2007. At 15-1, how do you like Mandaloun's chances, El Hombre?
I don't like him nearly as much as a lot of people do. I think some people that I actually have a lot of respect for in the industry love this horse and have loved him a lot more than I have all the way through this prep season. He did look at one point top of the food chain, top 5 type candidate. He's inconsistent. That's my problem with him. I don't know. I will say that I'm going to include him in deeper exotics where, we're playing pick 4s, pick 5s, where you need to have, some protection and hope to nail a 20-1, because I think Mandaloun's going to be more like 20 to 1-ish. He's 15-1 morning line.
Yep.
And I won't write him off. He's got Giroux and Brad Cox trained. Brad Cox seemed to have somewhat confidence in him. He's not a write-off for me. He's not an insta-toss like the first 5 out of 6 were for me. Mandaloun, I think, is in the program. I don't think he wins. I don't think he gets second, but I think he could hit the bottom of the trifecta or superfecta.
Yeah, like you, I can't figure this horse out. It's a Jekyll and Hyde thing, right? He'll come in first in one race and then 6th in another, first again, 3rd in another. And it seems like he's racing on the same track against the same horses. That whole Southeast Conference is really tough to judge sometimes. I don't touch Mandaloun. I understand the theory behind the people who want to put him in, but there's other horses that I will trust more in any sort of boxing above Mandaloun.
So we had Medina Spirit at number 7 on our top contenders list. This is Baffert's only horse running Saturday as he tries to break his tie with trainer Ben Jones and grab a 7th victory. There have been 7 winners from post 8 before, including one of the greatest upsets in Derby history in 2009 with Mind That Bird. Can Medina Spirit put Baffert on top?
Yeah, I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Please.
I'd rather touch Medina Spirit at 15-1 than Mandaloun. Velasquez is on the mount, who said it's Baffert's only horse, who's giving him all his attention right now, for whatever that's worth. This horse has consistent speed numbers, always places against the top competition. It's only come in second to 2 horses, Rock Your World and Life is Good. And oh, by the way, those are the 2 horses with the best buyer speed figures of all the Derby competitors, right? So it's lost to horses like that. It's won a number of races. It's got Right. It beat Hot Rod Charlie already in the Lewis Stakes. I don't see why this is a 15-1 horse. To me, this feels more like an 8-1 horse, like Hot Rod Charlie. I would put this into a box any day of the week.
For me, I see this. This is insta toss. He's out.
Insta toss.
Controversial. Go ahead,
Whoa.
haters. Haters beat me. Rock Your World made him look ridiculous. So if you have any credence to that race at all, Rock Your World made him look stupid. I mean, just ridiculous. Baffert lost his Derby hopes with Life is Good. You guys get over it. Sorry, I know we all want to see the white-haired wizard win another one. I don't, but everybody else seems to. He lost his Derby hopes when Life is Good got pulled, which, by the way, saddened all of us. That's a great horse, a monster. Medina Spirit, I mean, if he wouldn't have run in that race, maybe I'd give him a shot. He looked ridiculous next to Rock Your World. That's it. You got no shot. He's an instant toss. Boom.
No,
he's not
no.
even a superfecta thought.
Oh please,
He's out.
Put your comments below.
I'll give you a loan when it's over. Okay, I'll give you a loan after he wins. There you go.
All right, good.
Now, only 4 previous winners have launched from post 9, and I was just a gleam in my daddy's eye when Reva Ridge did it last time in 1972. We had Hot Rod Charlie at number 5 on our list, and he's listed at 8-1 odds. What do you think of this draw for HRC, El Hombre?
Must play in every format. I'm not going to say the horse isn't going to, he's not necessarily a winner, although I think he could win. I think he's going to go out front and set the pace. I think he's going to go out front and set the pace, and I think he could set the pace from start to finish also. I think he's a must-play in every format, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, anything. And I also think if you're an idiot if you don't include him in your pick 4 or 5, everything else. And I also think that's probably one of the better win play show type bets, because I think he's going to go off around 8 or 10-1. Even a show bet's going to pay $6 or $8. A place bet you're going to get $12. A win bet you're going to get rich. So I think he's one of the better win play show type bets on the board. Doug O'Neill's already won a couple times. Flavien Prat's been here 100 times. I mean, you're going to bet Medina Spirit with Baffert just because of Baffert's white hair? You're out of your fucking mind. Hot Rod Charlie's a monster. Go.
So I do like the Flavien Prat mount here. I think that does enhance Hot Rod Charlie a little bit. But what was he? 3rd in the Sham, 2nd in Breeders' Juvie. That's impressive. He won the Louisiana Derby. I'm just not thrilled by him. I don't know what it is. I've got other horses that I'd rank above him. He did have a good win in Louisiana. Not exactly sure what happened at the Sham.
It was 7 months ago, but go ahead.
It was 7 months ago. Granted, yeah. And we've got one race to work off of since then. That's about it. So if you like him at 8-1, go for it. I think the jockey definitely enhances him. I would ponder him in some, trifecta, superfecta boxes, but I'm not thrilled. I would not bet a win on Hot Rod Charlie. I would be shocked if you won.
By victories, post 10 is second best at 9, with the last victory being another great upset with Giacomo in 2005. This year, that's where our number 10 horse, Midnight Bourbon, will start. El Hombre, we know your thoughts on bourbon drinkers. But what do you think about Midnight Bourbon's chances on Saturday?
Well, you got Mike Smith, an absolute legend of the game, on board. 20-1. Asmussen's a monster too. These guys know what they're doing. Midnight Bourbon, and by the way, I've seen the interviews this week. Everybody has a lot of confidence spewing out of that camp. I see him at least 20-1's an insult to me.
Agreed.
It's an insult. I think he's probably more like 12 to 15-1. He's not one of the favorites, but he's also not. I think he's probably 5th or 6th consideration in my book. Must play in every format, and we talked about the win play show bet. If you like Hot Rod Charlie, he's the same type of thing. I think they're both going to go off around the same odds. I think Midnight Bourbon at 20-1. That's not going to happen once the public gets a hold of the money. I see Midnight Bourbon dropping down to about 12-1 or so. And with that, I hope that's true because I will be on it.
Yeah, I don't with the spread at Midnight Bourbon's level. when you talk about horses like Hot Rod Charlie, Mandaloun, all these other horses that we've gone through. I don't see his odds getting much lower than 20-1, to be honest with you. I love those odds. I'll take him at those odds. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna. I don't think it's gonna get it down to even 12-1. I think he's probably gonna sit about where he is. Consistent horse. I didn't like him at the beginning of the Derby Trail as much as you did, but the more I've watched him, the more I've seen how consistent he is. He's always sort of hanging at the front of the pack. He hasn't had like the wild swings like Mandaloun has had. Hung with Hot Rod Charlie in Louisiana for second place. Won the Lecomte, third at Risen Star. All those horses coming from the SEC conference, as I call it, are infuriating to me. Tough to judge, but I think this is the consistent one that comes out, the one that I like best of that ilk. So Midnight Bourbon at 20-1, work him into something.
And by the way, he's 16 hands. He's a freaking monster. He was bouncing around in that farm video that we posted.
Yeah.
He's a monster. I mean, that horse is. I don't think there's anybody in the country that would be shocked if that thing won. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Next.
Another one of Pletcher's 4 Derby horses this year is a morning line at 20-1. It's Dynamic One. We'll be running out of post 11, which has only spawned 2 winners in the Derby ever. What do you think about the Dynamic One, the formula?
How the hell is this horse 20-1? That's what I think. It took 4 races for this horse to break his maiden. Came in second to Bourbonic in that Twilight Zone Wood Memorial race that everybody was flipped out about. I've got a better chance of surviving a hike through the Appalachian Trail, naked, buttered up, with honey, and drop kicking cubs like it's the opening kickoff at the Superdome, than this horse has a chance of winning the Kentucky Derby. That's my thoughts on Dynamic One.
El Hombre?
If we can stoop lower, the horse has less of a shot than that. Insta toss. We're going. I got 12 out of 20 are insta tosses. Probably the easiest insta toss of all of them to me. At 20-1 is an insult to a Midnight Bourbon, who we just talked about. At 20-1, same odds. Absolute insult. I appreciate everybody who's doing the morning line odds. You're always going to find some, disagreement across the board, but unbelievable. We're going to talk about Dynamic One. Other than Pletcher and Ortiz, Jose Ortiz, I don't see anything likable about this horse, but I'm not here to be negative. The horse has 0.
0.0.
0.0. Mark my words. Anybody? 0.0 shot at winning. And I would say 1.0% chance of getting 4th. Next, what do we got next?
A lot of fans are high on Helium. We had him at 6 on our latest list, and at 50-1, he draws post 12. A tough starting position that hasn't seen a victor since 1971. Can Mark Cass and Jose Ferrer get Helium to rise to the occasion? Your thoughts, El Hombre?
Well, I love Julian Leparoux. Mark Cassie's a hot trainer. 50-1, probably a little tough. I like this horse more than I like Dynamic One, which isn't saying much. I don't think this horse is even in the conversation. To put a quote around it, Helium sucks. And look, I'm famous for doing my relevant metrics, and you know who else sucks? Is a shout out to somebody you may or may not have heard of. Her name is Allison from the television show Intervention. Roll the tape, producer, go ahead. She's walking on sunshine.
Like I'm walking on sunshine.
That's the same odds. Helium has the same odds of Allison walking on sunshine, snorting, whatever that drug is, HDMA.
Doing whippets.
I don't care. Yeah, blowing whippets in and out of her nostrils. I don't even care. Same odds. And believe me, you guys, trust me. Write this down and sell it to your kids. Tattoo it on your arm. If this horse wins, I will jump off the Brooklyn Bridge and freeze to death publicly. Thank you.
Formula?
Helium's easily my favorite 51 horse. I get that the competition wasn't great for Helium. This is a horse that hasn't lost, though. I always take that into consideration.
Yeah, he beat my father laying in a pool of blood. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, your father ran a good race. passed the pack in the Tampa Bay Derby, 3 wide on the outside. Did that thing that horses like Nadal did last year, where slowed down after he passed everybody. As soon as he felt someone on his rear end, found another gear to kick it in. I really like Helium. I'm hoping to work him into some sort of box here and make it rich. There you go. I love Helium at 50 to 1.
Allison also likes Helium. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Allison could teach you a thing or two, I'm pretty sure.
If you're not in
Maybe you could teach her something as well. Maybe you could show her how to suck something else.
If you're not in post 5, then history tells us you want to be on the outside, except for post 14 and 17, which are seriously unlucky. In the past 10 years, 70% of the Derby winners have come from position 13 or wider. And at 50 to 1, Hidden Stash gets the start at post 13. Formula, what do you think about this Victoria Oliver trained horse?
So the reason this horse is called Hidden Stash is because if you want to bet on this horse and your wife finds out about it, she will find your stash and hide it from you, because betting on this horse is probably the worst decision in the Kentucky Derby right now.
I agree that my take on this horse, and we saw it in a previous episode, is that Hidden Stash, John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown, hiding bodies underneath his floor. Look.
Do we have to go here again? We've heard this already. I don't think we have to talk about
He had a hidden stash of
again.
corpses underneath of his freaking wood floor. The cops came in. It stunk. They couldn't even tell what was going on. Doesn't matter. That's the only way I would bet this is if like Gacy was threatening to take my soul. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That's good right there.
Carryback rode to victory out of post 14 back in 1961, and he was the last to do so. In fact, 14 is the only draw that hasn't produced a top 3 horse in the past 11 years. And this is the draw for our number 1 ranked horse, 2 to 1 Essential Quality. Can Brad Cox and Luis Saez get EQ to overcome the odds and finish on top? Formula.
I mean, anything for first, other than first place, would be a disappointment for this horse. And I think anything outside of the money is going to shock the world at this point. This horse hasn't lost yet, and it's been in the most high-profile races of any of the horses we've spoken about, answered the bell in all kinds of different weather, different types of positions, come from behind. I mean, 2 to 1, that's the thing that you don't like about it. And you got to think that whatever you're building, though, it's going to include essential qualities somewhere. Right, we're talking about horses we like to win that are long shots, but if you're going safe, right, essential qualities, the safest bet in the Kentucky Derby.
100%. You have to include them in every exotic, in every bet type possible.
Oh yeah, every box has to have essential quality.
Must play. I'm gonna bet him hardcore on win if he's less than 5 to 2. I think is about the brink where he should be. 2 to 1's a little harsh. I don't think he's going to go 2 to 1. I think we're going to get more on him. I hope. I could be wrong. I think horses like Known Agenda,
Rock Your World,
Hot Rod Charlie, and Rock Your World are going to take enough money to keep him off of 2 to 1. I think he's going to be more like 5 to 2. If that's the case, I'm going to hammer him. If not, I mean, I think you're basically Chris Burke from Life Goes On, also known as Corky. If you don't bet him, leave him out. Go ahead and get cute. We'll do Sainthood, no Besos and all that. You're out. Essential qualities in the mix. I mean, he has a bad day. He gets third here. So you still got to put him in every exotic, every exacta, every trifecta, and every superfecta, or you're crazy. Go ahead.
Rock Your World is going to line up in post 15, which has seen 6 winners, including last year's Derby champion Authentic. At 5 to 1, he was number 2 on our list before the draw. Alombre, has anything changed?
No, he's 5 to 1, and again, I just mentioned essential quality. Depending on his odds, is how hard I'm going to push him. Rock Your World is the easy next push. I think he's going to be morning line 5 to 1. I think he's going to be more like, 7 to 2 or 4 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
But deservedly so. I mean, the horse is a monster. He's probably right there with essential quality. I think those two are the class of the field. Depending on the odds, I could go harder on Rock Your World than essential quality. It really depends on the money. I'm not going to sit here and bet. I'm not going to go hard on a 8 to 5 favorite. But if these two are starting to level off, Rock Your World, Rosario, this horse could win. I mean, he might win. He's probably the most likely to win. So if you got even odds, I'm going to bet the S out of Essential Quality and Rock Your World. I don't see anybody outside of those two winning, to be honest with you. Everybody else we're talking about is cute. I'm going to toss 12 of them instantly. But I think those two, I just want to be respectful of everybody else, but those two are going to win. One of those two are going to win, period.
And I think it is Rock Your World that is going to win. That's the one that I like best, the horse that I like best of those two. I think, like I said, Essential Quality is the safest bet. He's the most tried and true. He's the one that has raced in the more higher profile races. But Rock Your World, I like the speed figures on him. I like what he did at the Santa Anita Derby. I like who he did it too. He hasn't had as many races. He wasn't the Breeders' Cup juvenile victor like Essential Quality was. But I do like everything else that I see about Rock Your World, and I like the odds. And this is the horse that I would bet on.
Yeah, that last race was ridiculous. It just made everybody look stupid. It's hard to talk. You really can't say anything with a straight face against him. Next.
Yeah.
Trainer Kenny McPeak's lone horse in the Derby is King Fury, and he draws post 16 for Saturday's race. Formula, any chance King Fury sits on the throne when this one's in the books?
I think it's more likely that you're going to see El Hombre chug a can of Beast Light out of his own boot, and that's a throwback. There's a better chance of seeing that happen than there is of King Fury winning the Kentucky Derby.
I'm just going to go straight to an irrelevant metric because it's a waste of everybody's time to listen to me talk about King Fury. All right? King Fury's named for Tyson Fury. If you're not familiar, that's a boxer, which nobody even pays attention to boxing. Everybody's paying attention to human cockfighting where people are getting their knees and ankles blown out live on television the other night. Puked, by the way. King Fury has the same shot to win as King Hippo did against me in 5th grade in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which is 0 shot. Once I figured out you could punch him in the gut and then his pants would fall down around his ankles and all that. 0 shot.
X marks the spot, right?
Yeah, forget about it. He had the Band-Aids going on or whatever else. I don't know why this horse is in the race. No, hang on. Give me some silence. I want silence. I want everybody to recognize. I don't know why this horse is in the race.
Is that enough silence for you?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And proceed now.
All right, guys. In 42 attempts, there has never been a winner from post 17. And though that almost changed last year with favorite Tiz the Law, he came up short, leaving 17 as the only stall to never produce a Derby champion. Now, our number 4 horse, Highly Motivated, will try to overcome those odds. El Hombre, can you do it?
Would we have him 3 or 4 all year? I had him, and then I went to Keeneland and saw him almost beat EQ. The horse, if EQ has an off day, he's one of the 2 or 3 that I think can be there. I don't think he's going to win. I'll be honest. I'm not going to bet him to win. I'm going to put him in every other bet you can imagine, though. If you're going to bet exacta, trifecta, exotic, pick 3, pick 4, pick 5s, you have to include him or you're nuts. I don't think he's going to win. I don't know why, though. I can't even justify it. He lost by, 2 feet. He did a great job. It's a great horse. I don't know. Chad Brown, Castellano, 2 of my favorite people in the industry. I don't know. I don't think he's going to win. Must play in every format, though.
Formula?
Yeah, as close as you can get to dethroning the top-rated Derby horse, Essential Quality, that's Highly Motivated, right? As El Hombre said, he was right there, right? You can put the space between your hands. That's how close he was to beating Essential Quality in Keeneland. Does going the extra 1/8 of a mile make any difference? Probably not. Very similar to Medina Spirit. Bridesmaid to the top-rated horses, barely ever makes it to the bride, if that's even a phrase that you can spin. At least not in the big races, right? So won the Nyquist, 3rd at Gotham, was 1 length behind Weyburn and crowded trade, 2nd in the Bluegrass, as we said. Definitely a horse worth considering. but I don't think he's going to crack a win here. That's for sure.
Now, there have only been 2 champions ever in the Kentucky Derby that started in post 18. But interestingly enough, they were our last 2 Derby champions, Authentic and Country House. This year, it's going to be the starting point for Super Stock Formula. Can this Steve Asmussen horse make it 3 in a row for post 18?
Right, so we're getting into the 30s now. These are the 3 30-to-1 horses. This is the winner of the Arkansas Stakes, upset over Concert Tour. But to me, it was almost more like the Concert Tour reveal party. I'm not a huge fan of Superstock. He had his day, but didn't show much before that at the Rebel or the Claiborne Stakes. I think what we saw from him was a good race by a good horse, beating a couple overvalued horses in Concert Tour and Caddo River. Superstock is just going to be a non-factor to me. I have a better chance of turning El Hombre into a jazz fan by introducing him through way of John Coltrane's Interstellar Space, which is a difficult album even for Coltrane fans, than Superstock has of winning the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, well played. Superstock, yeah, no shot. Forget about it. 30-to-1, an insult to everybody in the world. And you know what? We've released the top 10 and top 5 videos the last few weeks. Everybody loves this thing. Everybody loves a long shot, a good story. Look, I mean, Asmussen, and I'm a giant Ricky Santana Jr. fan.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't care about the 100 hater posts that are coming tonight. Don't care. I bask in it.
I love the hate. Basking in it, basking in it, basking in it.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Soup and Sandwich is going to start in post 19. And though I know you guys aren't crazy about this horse's name, friend of the show, Tyler Gaffleone, is going to be in a mount on this horse Saturday for the first time. Can Tyler get it done, El Hombre?
Look, dude, TG, my guy. I love the guy. Friend of the family. What I watched back on the Maximum Security DQ and watched World Will. I forgot how much he got jobbed out of that. He got jobbed out of that race. TG got jobbed out of that race more than I remembered, to be honest. Live when I was watching it, I think I had betting interest, so I didn't really see it as purely as I do now. I think World Will had a shot there with TG, and it was gone. I don't think there's anybody who doubts his ability. And Mark Cassie is obviously the joint. And you know what? Soup and Sandwich is a great story. He's a gray. Everybody loves a gray. Essential Qualities, obviously a gray.
He's the gray, yeah.
He's the gray. Everybody loves a gray, and everybody loves Soup and Sandwich. Look, I think he's way too good to be 30-to-1, though, to be honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm going to put him in every exotic format. I'm not going to play a trifecta that doesn't have him involved. I think he can really do it. I don't think he can win. I was talking to Vinny Blonde, friend of the show. He thinks he can win. I don't think he can win. I think I might bet him a win-play show, though. Maybe you put 20, 50 across the board on him if he hits. I mean, you're going to Sizzler with White Men Can't Jump and all them.
You're getting more than a Soup and Sandwich, that's for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's the worst name in the history of the game.
Oh, it's the best, isn't it? Oh, you love it.
Tyler's embarrassed to have to tell people that he's riding that horse because of the stupid name. It's a great horse, great jockey, great trainer. I think this thing has a chance at 30-to-1 morning line. I like it. I think he's going to go off more like 18-to-1 or something like that. But
yeah,
I'll probably have some bucks invested on him.
Yeah, there's going to be some people who bet on him, and that 30-to-1 is going to come down. He's one of the Twitter darlings right now, as you mentioned before. Sure. Our friends from Real Dynasty. I think it's not just. I think Nick is also all over this pony as well. I've seen him post on it. I get it. I mean, undefeated before coming in second to Known Agenda, set the pace for that race.
All right. He looked all right in that race too.
Looked really good in that race and got picked off at the end by Known Agenda. So you can understand why people are all over this horse. Set a monster pace. They think he may do it for the Kentucky Derby as well. Maybe that extra eighth of a mile suits him more. Maybe they figure out some things to tweak. Mark Cassie, like you said, great trainer. Tyler Gaffleone is the jockey, so maybe there's some good strategy there. They see what lost it for them in Florida, and they can make adjustments here in Kentucky, possibly. Yeah. It's not a horse I am betting to win. It's not. I've got other horses I like better than Soup and Sandwich. I don't mind the name. It might improve if you make it Kitten's Soup and Sandwich, but that's just me.
And last but not least, guys, we have Post 20. Now, there's only been one win from this stall, and that was Big Brown back in 2008. This year, Bourbonic will start in the outside lane.
Yeah.
Formula, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, 30-1. This is the third one. Of the three, Soup and Sandwich is probably my favorite. Bourbonic, he won the Wood. He had the long odds. Historic running of the Wood, I believe. 3 wins in the last 4 races, but that was his biggest competition, and it wasn't that much. There weren't a whole lot of other horses to talk about. I think maybe Brooklyn Strong was in that race, and he's the only other one who's running in the Derby, and we told you what we thought about him. 30-1 for Bourbonic is probably about right. I don't think he's moving much more from that.
Okay, for me, Bourbonic. Here we go. I like Kendi Carmouche making moves.
Respect.
Big African American moves for a jockey, making a lot of progress. Congrats for that. It's awesome. Here's my thoughts on Bourbonic.
There you have it.
3 hours later.
It's much more pleasant now. You notice that?
It's a little quieter, isn't it?
Yeah. I feel like we can really talk about horses now.
So here we are looking at the top 20. Do you guys have any final thoughts? What are your picks before we say goodbye to the show here?
Yeah, I think that my top pick is Rock Your World. I don't think that's changed since he came on the scene and was kind of my replacement for Life is Good in a way. I do like him a lot. I think my favorite long shot, my favorite 50-1 is Helium. I would love to see a way to work him in there. That would be a miracle if it happened. In terms of 20-1s, I do like Midnight Bourbon, and I also like Medina Spirit in there as well.
For me, I think it's clear cut, which is asinine to even think you're going to have a clear cut Derby with 20 horses. But for me, it seems like Essential Quality and Rock Your World, Known Agenda are the top 3 for me, even though Known Agenda is coming off the rail now. My outside shot, Midnight Bourbon, 20-1. And if you need to force me into another one, it's Hot Rod Charlie. I think we like the 9. We like the 9 and the 10. I will not play a trifecta that does not have those 2 involved, at least underneath second and third. But I mean, Essential Quality should win, and if he's over 5-2, I'm jamming my kid's diaper money on that thing.
Yeah, I know I didn't mention Essential Quality. Maybe it goes without saying, but there's no way you can talk about any sort of tricky bet without putting Essential Quality in there. I mean, it's
dynamic
other than a straight win bet where you like a horse like Rock Your World, or you're going for some sort of crazy long shot and you want to put a couple bucks on, Soup and Sandwich or Helium for fun just to see if you can hit the lottery.
All right, dynamic one guy is gonna just bitch me out in comments. So have a nice
absolutely
night, dynamic one guy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. That wraps up our show here on the post positions for the 147th Kentucky Derby. We want to thank all you guys for supporting Trust the Profits. We know we're new here on YouTube, but we're not going anywhere. So hit that subscribe button and enjoy the race Saturday. See you guys later.
Good luck.
See ya.